All right. Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started since it is noon. If you're joining us live, go ahead and pop a hello in the chat and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to know. Hopefully it's enabled for you guys. I'm pretty sure we went ahead and enabled it so everyone can see everyone's chat. So if you're watching live, go ahead and throw a hello in there. And if for some reason you can't hear me, let me know. But we'll just go ahead and get started. Oh, there's a hello. Sandy in Columbus. Hi, Sandy. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to go ahead and get started. So our featured sponsor for March is Nebraska Enterprise Fund. As you know, without our sponsors and our supporters, and of course our Grow Nebraska members, none of this would be possible. So we greatly appreciate Nebraska Enterprises Fund's support for the Grow Nebraska Foundation. Our featured member is Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce. They actually joined just this year, and it's been so great working with them. Towards the end of this, I'll be talking about a mini market tech workshop that we're actually partnering with Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce to put on. So you'll get more details about that at the end of this training. This week's presenter is Alyssa Wyant. She's the founder of Pin and Post. Of course, if you have any questions throughout the training, be sure to pop them in the chat as she'll answer them as she goes or at the end. So Alyssa, I'm going to let you take over, and thank you so much for presenting today. I'm excited to learn some things.
Thanks, Zoe. I'm going to try to share my screen. This was a challenge for whatever reason while Zoe and I were getting ready for everyone to join. So hang with me as we do this. We had to just make it bigger so you could see. All right, Zoe, can you see that on your end? Is everything looking okay?
Yes, it looks beautiful to me.
Good, that's what I like to hear. Well, hello, thank you guys so much for joining and welcome to today's training. Like Zoe said, my name's Alyssa Wyant. This is the work edit. You might see that it's similar to the Netflix hit series, The Home Edit. I'll be taking you through kind of how to organize your business and then providing you with 3 tools that you can utilize today to become more productive within your workday. So let's go ahead and get started. Just kind of organizing kind of the day for you. I wanted to outline what we'll be talking about. First, we'll kind of go through the process of editing your business, and then I'll provide you with different strategies for organizational changes and productivity strategies for you as a business owner. A little bit about me. That picture is actually my headshot that Zoe showed. I actually had cropped out my poor husband and son. So I'm the owner of Pen and Post, which is a consulting firm that specializes in marketing, copywriting, digital marketing, social media, SEO. And this is very relevant for us because I also work with business organization, business strategy, and kind of in that realm of things, many other different things. But with 10 years of experience, I really specialize in small businesses, healthcare, and higher education. So kind of a variety of different things. But along with being a business owner, I am also a wife and mother and enjoy doing a variety of different activities. I feel like my hobbies have changed probably within the last 10 years extensively, and just love doing things with my family and spending time with our 2 dogs. So have really enjoyed that as well. So during today's presentation, we'll walk through the steps of doing a work edit. So let me be kind of your Clea and Joanna, and we'll get started, but we'll go through the edit, categorize, contain, and maintain, similar to what they do on the show, but I'll show you how to implement that into your business and how you can get started. So the edit is really where we start to take a deep dive into what's going on. This is a low quality picture of a high quality problem that we have where things are just a mess. Things happen in life where either it's expected or unexpected and things kind of get out of hand where we no longer feel that sense of control and organization. The edit process really helps to set the foundation to transform something that isn't organized to that beautiful rainbow organization that we see on the home edit. The main question I encourage my clients to ask themselves during this process is, should this have a place in my business? If you've seen the show, they encourage clients to physically touch and feel every item to kind of identify its value to them. And then they go on to classify it into 3 different categories: either keep, donate, or trash. This is something that I encourage people to do in business, and very similar. We either keep it for our business because it's valuable, we delegate it maybe to someone else within the business that can help, or we scrap it because it no longer is serving a purpose within that business. Then we move on to the categorize part. This is probably my personal least favorite part because we know some things don't fit perfectly into a box. And as much as we want to try to make them fit, it just sometimes doesn't work. As we think about categorizing, we should be thinking what's identical to what, not thinking what looks exactly like this, but rather what could fit with what makes sense strategically with each other. Categories really serve as a roadmap to how you organize within your business. The certain categories serve to know and understand the functions of that specific category. So then we move on to contain. This, in my opinion, is the best part because we get to put all the hard work and we get to the point where we see that nice, pretty organizational pattern. For someone that's a type A personality, this is like my heaven. We get to see things that are just perfectly organized, that are fitting into boxes of like items. I picked this picture to represent the contain because this doesn't have all of the things that you see in the home edit where we have specific boxes for each little item. It just will say things like household items or party supplies or hobbies. I like this because, like I said, we know in business that things don't necessarily fit into a certain box. There might be like categories. So we might have somebody for marketing, but they also serve as our website developer. Well, those are really similar. We could put those in the same category, for example. Considerations I encourage clients to ask during this process is really who should be doing what, who's capable of doing what, and who's going to be successful doing what. Those are the 3 main things because we know that not everybody should be doing everything, or they may not just be capable of doing something. We may get a better performance out of someone else, and that makes sure that we're seeing the success in the business side. So the largest consideration we really should be looking for and work for is, does this work for your business? And are we meeting that objective in a positive and successful way that could possibly elevate our business to that next level? Maintaining organization, that can always be hard. I struggle with that in my personal life when I get something to where I want it and it's looking great. I live with 2 boys and those boys can be dirty. They don't always put things back. My husband is definitely not like me in the sense of that type A, everything fits. And our 7-year-old son is just, you never know what you're going to get when you're 7. So things can kind of always get out of hand. The important thing I think is just revisiting and evaluating if that decision or that category is still making sense for your business. And just kind of readjusting and organizing, similar to what you would do in a pantry or anywhere else. If something isn't working and maybe the specs are too high or they're too low, we would adjust that and put that lower. You can also take that into the business sense of revisiting and evaluating if it's a good fit. Questions to kind of consider is, can you make tweaks to make it better? And is what you're doing actually working? Should someone else maybe be doing X, Y, or Z job? During the maintain or evaluating process, what I really encourage businesses to look at is how the business operates beyond just its central purpose while asking themselves those questions. So the central purpose of a business may be to sell a product, but how is the business operating outside of just that one sale? What does it look like on a day-to-day function? And is it functioning efficiently enough to make that sell in the first place? So we've done the edit now. We've gotten through the edit portion and we're maintaining that. So now what I would encourage clients to do is kind of the reveal part and the 3 easy things that you can go and implement today just to make your life easier as a business owner and increase productivity. So my goal is to have your face look like the girl in black here. This is one of my favorite pictures because I love Joanna's face in this picture. She just looks like, I promise, like we changed your life with this, and she knows that. So it just always like makes me laugh because it's like, look at all this hard work I've done, like, and now your life's so much easier. But I'm hoping to do that for you with a couple of the things that I found through my own experiences. The three things that we'll look at today are time blocking, email templates, and project management. I'm assuming we'll have questions. I intentionally kind of made this presentation a little bit shorter so we can go over any of these in details. Whenever I talk about these three different things, we get a lot of questions, and that's okay. And I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. So feel free to ask questions at the end when we're finished. Excuse me. So studies are showing that 77% of people are experiencing burnout, whether that's within your small business, whether that is with your client that you're working with. Everybody is burnt out. And I think that's especially probably most higher even post-COVID, because we're asking to do more with less and less resources as workers, as colleagues, as business owners. With that, only 18% of people actually have a time management system where they're managing their time and their tasks. So if you fall within that other 82% of the population, time blocking may be a good fit for you. You may already be familiar with the concept of time blocking. It's pretty popular, I would say, in today's world, thanks to people like Bill Gates or Elon Musk. Both of them are known to utilize this practice to increase their productivity. And basically what time blocking is blocking out a chunk of time and deciding just on one task or a group of tasks to focus on. This is something that I do daily, and it helps me just stay focused on one thing at a time. And then I might take a break and shift to something completely different. Oftentimes that might be things around my house or things I know I need to get done for my family. But it really helps me get things done in a time efficient manner and makes me feel productive by checking off those things on my list. So time blocking has so many benefits. You can see on the screen here. Like I said, the biggest for me is feeling more in control, kind of knowing, one, that my day's planned, knowing kind of what's on the agenda for that day, and feeling more productive and less distracted. Studies have shown that time blocking actually improves your productivity by 80%. And what I mean, I should probably explain like what I mean by time blocking or how you would time block. Basically, my biggest suggestion for this would be to find a time that works for you. So maybe you work really well in an hour increment. You can focus on one thing for 1 hour. I know for me personally, that's not realistic. I go so fast with things and I want to move on to the next thing, or maybe somebody interrupts me or somebody sends me a really important email that I feel like I have to shift tasks and move. I will actually set a timer for, usually my time block is about 20 to 30 minutes that I'll focus on one task. And then when that timer ends, I switch either one to another task. And if I'm not done with the task that I had given my time with, I will come back to that and give myself another 20 minutes to focus on that task until it's done. That also helps me obviously make time for breaks within my day. I do actually go in and schedule breaks for when I know I'm going to take it. Typically, those breaks are around 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I know that those are my break times that either I will go outside and like walk a lap around our neighborhood, or I might go and switch the laundry out or something. I mean, you can decide, that's kind of the beauty of it, what those breaks look like for you. And maybe it's just taking it into another task that you can do mindlessly while you're working. So this really lets you control your time, how you spend it, what you focus it on. It works to establish some kind of a routine within your day and minimizes those distractions that we see every day. So one of the things that I do when I'm doing my time blocking, if I'm focusing on one task, I close my email out. That probably seems really elementary, really juvenile, but email can be so distracting and make you feel like you're getting pulled in 500 different directions and interrupt that time that you have set aside. So that's one thing that I do is I close my email out. I close my browsers out unless it obviously has to do with that one task. But that is one thing that I feel like it really helps kind of just to stay focused. So email is always something that can become really unmanageable really quickly. You have a meeting full or a day full of meetings, and suddenly your inbox is back to 100 when you had just gotten it down to about 10. One of the things, I have attended a lot of conferences in my life. One of the things that I went to was a productivity session that was actually for higher education. And one of the sessions I went to, he had talked about archiving your email. And if things are a year older, that they get archived. And I just remember feeling kind of really nervous to do that, because if I archived them, what would happen if I needed them? But what I realized when I came back from the conference was all those emails that were there that were needed for a year ago that I had kind of told myself mentally, like, oh, I'll come back to that, or I'll get to that. I never came back to it. It had fallen off my radar, either one, because it wasn't important, or it no longer served me. So what I did was took all those emails that were over a year old and put a folder, a subfolder, and just had pushed them all over there. So one, it kind of calmed my anxiety level of thinking, well, what if I need that? And put that over into a folder. And then from there, it obviously cleaned out my email enough. I was able to utilize kind of a filing system. So again, I would kind of categorize my emails either by the person sending it, by the business that I was working at, or the vendor I was working with, and I would have all of these emails categorized. So if you were to go into my inbox today, you would see probably, I think I have 2 emails in there, 2 emails that I need to get back to someone on. And I utilize that as kind of a form of my to-do list. That has really helped me not only maintain my own personal inbox, but it's also kind of helped me understand what my priorities are and enabled me, I guess, to kind of address any issues that came up right away when they come into my inbox. We know that we all get super urgent emails that need to be dealt with right away. And now I no longer have to go through hundreds of emails just to find the one that matters. The other piece that I can show you how to do, or would be happy to show and demonstrate, is utilizing the ability to create email templates for emails that you frequently send. So a lot of the emails that I would find myself sending would just be a redraft or repeat of ones that I had already done. So I was constantly rewriting my emails out. And instead of saving it in a Word file or something like that, there's actually different applications through Gmail, if you're a Gmail user, or Outlook, that you can go in and create a template. You just click on, you have a template name, obviously, click on the template name, and it auto drafts the email. This has helped so much, obviously saving time for one thing, but also the headache of sending out misinformation, sending out things with errors. I'm guilty of that, and I went to school for journalism. I went to school to prevent issues like this. So I think that's a huge thing, those 2 things. But also on this next slide, the fewer mistakes, the efficiency, improving lines of communication. Now, this isn't really something I would think about necessarily when we talk about email templates, but if we're able to send a client something so fast with specific instructions, that just makes sure that that client knows exactly expectations, knows what they're expected to do, deliverables, all of that. The other thing that I think is really important is the brand consistency. We're saying the same thing every time. We're sounding the same every time. You're not getting a different person or personality of your brand that's different every time. So being able to utilize that email management, whether it's through the templates or filing system, comes with so many benefits. The biggest thing that I think for me was knowing that the items that were left in my inbox were either, again, those new emails, or 2, needed my immediate attention. It helped me to prioritize and ensure that I'm addressing the most immediate issues as soon as they are arising. And then with those templates, it was saving me time, enabling me to be able to do that. The last thing I will share with you, and probably my favorite thing personally that I utilize not only in my personal life, but my professional life as well. It's a project management system. If you are not on a project management system within your business, I promise you it will make your life 100 times easier. But this is really, I feel like this is like my passion, my passion project is a project management system. It's my favorite thing to kind of introduce to clients because this kind of just rocks their world into understanding that life can be easier and it can be organized. But basically, project management systems, by definition, are systems that are helping to organize tasks, projects, or like a set of projects. So kind of thinking of it as kind of like a big virtual calendar. But by doing so, it's increasing different things like visibility for an entire team and ensuring things that aren't getting lost in the shuffle. In a past position, I was able to utilize the project management system and have 8 different teammates that were on it. Everybody knew where a project was at any given time. They knew what the expectations were of the project, any files that were associated with that project, all sorts of different things that were able to make them feel like, one, not only they knew what was going on with the project, but 2, like they were part of the team and the bigger initiative that we were building. So obviously project management systems have so many benefits. We could have talked about this for probably the full hour today. And actually I have another training through Grow Nebraska that we did do the project management system. So I'm sure if you're interested, Zoe has that available and can send that out after today. However, with project management systems, I've noticed the biggest thing when I've utilized them is that it provides the open communication, like I mentioned, allowing everyone to know where the project is. And the biggest thing that comes out of this in terms of productivity has been fewer meetings. And a lot of those meetings were meeting for things like clarification, things that are housed in that project management system. I've noticed fewer emails. We're no longer communicating via email from colleague to colleague, but rather within the project management system. And questions on a certain project because everything's just right there. It really acts as kind of a central hub for project information. And my favorite part, honestly, is that you can have access to it 24/7 and know your projects and what step you're on for each project without having to go back to your team to ask. This always to me was a huge selling point in using a project management system because I actually had an app on my phone that when I woke up at 3 a.m., I could jot down, okay, talk with the team tomorrow about this, this, and this. And it was on their radar. So they kind of knew what the agenda would look like, or adding a new project, or maybe somebody called me after hours. Those are all things that I would deal with in a project management system and be able to track there. So I, one, remembered, and 2, if that client then called one of my colleagues, that they were able to pick up and say, yeah, I see, Alyssa talked to you about X, Y, and Z issue. We're working on that. This is the remedy that she had suggested, and we'll continue with that. So being able to kind of create some kind of consistency with clients, with anything like that you're looking at for consistency purposes. Project management systems, you may have heard of some popular project management systems like Trello, Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, Teamwork, Wrike, Smartsheet. So for the most part, they all provide the same purpose, but offer different kinds of functionalities. So depending on your business purpose for utilizing the project management system, there may be something that makes more sense for you and your business in terms of that project management system. But I do promise that it will absolutely make your life easier as a business owner. So hopefully I have convinced you that you need to start thinking strategically about your business and the way that it functions. Are you getting the most out of your employees and business as it could be functioning as it is, or could you be doing more with what you're currently doing? So I do provide consulting services if you or your business would like to get help getting something like this started. Similar to what Clea and Joanna are doing in a home, I can come into the business to identify practices and efficiencies and help do that edit process into a more functional and efficient, productive practice. If you like help or have questions, feel free to contact me. My contact information is on the screen. But thank you guys so much for listening today. And at this time, I think we'll open it up for questions unless Zoe has something else she'd like to do.
Yeah, let's see if anyone has some questions for you. I was taking notes myself. And maybe if not, we can. Does anyone have questions for Alyssa? She can answer anything and everything. If you want to see anything, she can screen share and show you. So I guess one thing I'm kind of interested is like the email templates. I didn't know you could do that. I don't know. Can you do that on Outlook too?
Yes. Outlook actually has a app feature. So that is, let me see, I think it is in the settings. I think I have some screenshots too that I might be able to share over. Let me minimize my presentation here and find those. But it is a template. Are you on Outlook, Zoe?
Yes, I am on.
If you do you mind sharing, because I don't have Outlook on this computer, I use Gmail on this one. But if you at the top, it will have.
Sorry everyone, you're gonna see.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot either.
Oh no, you're fine.
Oh, and you're okay, an app user. Okay. So go to new mail, act like you're gonna open up, like send me an email or something. And then go to the 3 ellipses at the top.
This?
Yep. And go to more options. I think it's in this. No.
Sorry.
Okay, go up. It's okay. Go up to options. Sorry, when I did this on my other one, you're able just to pull up the ellipsis and it drops down into that because it's an app that you can add. Compose as a same message. Let me look and see if I can find that. But you should have like a oh, what do I want to call it? Just kind of like a little drop down that you would have. Let me show you. I will share my screen and I can show on the I can show on Gmail how you would get that set up. Sorry, let me get back to do this. Okay, there we go. You see my screen okay?
Yeah.
So go into settings and then you will go into see all settings and advanced. And then all you need to do is turn on the frequency from disabled to enabled. Okay, and then, oops, let me scroll down to change. You have to hit save changes. That's going to be the biggest thing. So settings up here, advanced, and then go to enable templates and scroll down and make sure you hit save changes. So what this will do is when I open this, if I hit my more options button, it will drop in templates. And I can go in and actually like say, hi Zoe, I'm ready to help with another training. I can go in and say, okay, now I want to save this. Sorry, my Zoom toolbar is right on top of the save. Save as a new template, Zoe. So let me X out of that and close the message. Then when I would go in again, I'd be able to go open this and say Zoe, and it just auto does it. So same kind of concept that you would use on Outlook. Let me find that, Zoe, and I will I can let you know.
Okay, sweet. I think there was a chat though.
What are some of the apps you listed, like Smartsheet? Oh, Kathy, I would love to show you. Like I said, the project management systems are definitely my passion project. I love getting people set up on these. I utilize Asana, and then I also utilize Trello. So within Trello, this is one that I put together, I think, for the training that I did for Grow Nebraska. Happy to share that back out with you guys. This is kind of how like I would set up a typical day. Each of these kind of acts as a column. I would call this like a column. And then each one of these is a card. So what we would do, like I have this as a card. I would list like my projects that I want to talk about with my team. And the cool thing about this is you can go in and say, like project details. This is really important. Big client, lots of details. List whatever you want there, hit save. Everybody has access to this. They can see all the details of it. And then like I could add myself to this board and just say, okay, I'm the one that's responsible for this. I'm working on this. So everybody knows that. You can go in and actually add like a checklist. So if you have like a social media checklist you want to do, I can say, okay, I brainstormed the post, I created the post copy, and it actually will tell you how far along you are. The cool thing that I like with the checklist items is that it actually shows you from a quick glance how far along we are with that project right here, where it says 2 out of 5 tasks are done. So that part I love. You can attach different files. You can create labels. So if I know, okay, this is social media, I can do that. And then this is where it saves, I think, so much time via email, whatever the case is, whatever you guys use to communicate, Slack, maybe whatever communication you use. But you can say, like, if Zoe was working with me, I would like say, you would add them. I don't think Zoe's on this board. So I'd say, Zoe, did you get that file for me? And then instead of emailing Zoe, when Zoe logs in, she'll get notified and see that. All the notifications come up here and they can see all the notifications that they have. And that's the part I like about it. The other cool thing, if you want to, sorry, where am I at? If you wanted to search for something, so like you could go in and search just for your labels. Like if you wanted to just see, or maybe you want to change a label, you could do that. And then you can search for labels too, which I'm trying to find and I cannot remember where that is. But you can search for labels. It also has like an email to board setting. So if you're in Outlook and you have an email that you're like, oh, I need to follow up on that, you can push it to the board. You can either do it by email, which you can just email and say send a board, or you have an extension that is typically added to your email that you could add on that would send it to a board. The cards can travel through, so this could act kind of as a to-do list for your team. So after you discuss it, maybe that project would move on the to-do list. Maybe it would move to done or on hold, or maybe you have questions for your boss that you need to go over. All of those things are super helpful because at any time, if you are the boss, you can go in and see where things are at. The other piece I like is the calendar. If you want to see things on more of a calendar view, which of course they're not on here because I don't have the due dates as that, but we could change that quick and we can show you. Looks like I must have done this back in June. So say this is due today. When we throw it in calendar view, it actually pulls up as a calendar view and that it's due today. It gives us that nice label, which was digital advertising for the project. So endless possibilities here. There's a lot of different things that those can do. So if you have more specific questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, but hopefully that gives you kind of something. Oh, I don't know what I clicked. I'm click happy here. Hopefully that kind of helps. It at least gets you started and kind of understanding like what that is. A lot of those things like the ones I mentioned, Asana, Trello, those types of things will all have that kind of same functionality for business purposes to use. And you can make separate boards for separate things if it makes sense. I have always kind of functioned on one big main board and then maybe some spin-off boards for like things like social media or to-do lists, that type of thing.
Hey, anyone else have any other questions for Alyssa? And yeah, we do have a whole training from Alyssa over Trello. It's on the Grow Nebraska website under on-demand trainings, and I do think you did it back in June, considering the date still back in June.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Hey, Zoe, I think I figured out too, if you wanted to share your screen again on the email, I might have figured out where that is in the web interface. And open a new email again and then type something. You can just type like test or something. Yeah,
What's up?
there you go. Perfect. Then go to file, try file save as, if there's a file save as there. Is it under your home at the top?
I think if I click that, oh. Sorry, I'm just clicking everywhere. That may
No,
be,
that's okay.
oh, my templates.
My templates, that's what it is. Yep. Okay. So when you go through this, sorry, I'm going to make you bigger because I had you minimized. When you go through this, you're actually able to, yep, hit plus, and then you can go in and like title. I love the Outlook interface more so than Gmail because there's not a lot of, I just feel like it's cleaner interface. But I mean, you could have that on there to do, and then you just go in and click your templates and add it. So now if you wanted to send that, just,
Let me see, do you do this?
yep. And then just click on it and it's done.
Okay, sorry for the drop, but I did not know that was a thing. Oh my
That's
gosh.
okay. So with this too, Outlook also does have a feature, and Google just implemented it not long ago, that you can actually delay the send time. So if you know that you have to email somebody on like the 15th of every month, the same email, you could go in and schedule that on like the first of the month with your template, and then you just delay the send. So that's another thing that I like that I think is a time saver for most, just having that there and ready to go. But those templates are amazing, and you only have to write it once. And then if there's an error, you just fix the template instead of having to be embarrassed about every email you've ever sent out with an error. So
Okay, well, I don't see any other questions, so we'll probably just go ahead and wrap up. But thank you so much, Alyssa, for presenting for Grow Nebraska again. It's much
absolutely.
appreciated. And then thank you to everyone that attended live. And if you're watching the recording, we missed you, but we're so happy that you're watching the recording, and we hope that you're able to take some great takeaways from this training. If you have any questions, you can contact me at the provided number or at zoe@grownebraska.org, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction or answer any questions you may have. And if you're interested in potentially presenting for a Grow Nebraska webinar, definitely reach out to me. We have some open dates available, and I'd love to chat with any and all of you. So that's just a heads up. So our upcoming trainings, we have an April 5th one. This one will cover how to make your website grow your business. It is with Maria Elena Duran. She was actually our keynote speaker at Market Tech last year. And I know a lot of people loved all the information she gave. So I highly recommend that you go and get registered for it. If you just go to grownebraska.org and then click on the trainings tab, you'll see upcoming trainings, and you'll see all our upcoming ones there, and you can get registered. Our April 20th one will be with Adam Croft. He was also a speaker at this year's Market Tech, and I know he got a lot of good reviews. The registration for that one is not up as we're waiting on some more details, so be on the lookout for that to be posted. And he will be covering marketing campaigns, so you can always learn more about marketing campaigns. So once that's up, we highly recommend that you get registered. I see there's a chat here. Okay, it's Alyssa. Hopefully Kathy's still on here. Alyssa left you a chat. Then we have our in-person training. This is April 25th, and this is our mini market tech workshop in Columbus, Nebraska. We are partnering with the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce. We did have to reschedule it due to Nebraska weather, as you know, but we're so happy that we were able to get a rescheduled date and that we can still make it happen. This is also under the upcoming training tab, and you can go ahead and register there and view all the details about the time and the location for it. So we would love to see you all in person. So if you're in that area or can make it to that area, we highly recommend that you join us. And the Grand Nebraska team will actually be the presenters for that. So super awesome. And that's all the announcements I have. So thank you again, Alyssa, for presenting, and thank you to everyone that attended live. And if you're watching the recording, thank you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And I'll put your contact information in the after training as well. So you can talk to Alyssa with any questions.
Thanks, Zoe.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.